Hello and welcome to the Nordic Football Podcast. I'm Steve Wiss, and here we are for another special interview, an exclusive interview with Molde striker Leke James. And we continue. We've had quite a few of these recently, these sort of special, shorter podcasts with interviews, and it's my turn this week to sit down with one of the players. We will be hopefully back in the next couple of weeks, myself and Jonathan Verdugbe, with some end of season reviews. But until then, we hope you enjoy this interview. It's about 20 minutes long with Leke James. So we'll take it away from here. And on this edition of the Nordic Football Podcast, I'm delighted to be joined by Molde striker Leke James. Welcome to the podcast, Leke. Hope you're well today.
Thank you. I'm well. Hope you're well too.
Yes, I'm very good, thank you. And I suppose we should start by offering congratulations to yourself and everyone at Molde for winning the title. A fantastic success. Everyone must be very high and really enjoying themselves up there right now.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Yeah. Of course, it's a great moment, lovely moment. We're enjoying the moment right now. Everybody's high, happy, and great mood all over. It's a good feeling.
And of course, you yourself have had a major contribution. You've scored. You're the second highest scorer in the Eliteserien, actually, with a fantastic amount of goals. And I just actually want to start and sort of take you back to the beginning of the season, where I think pre-season a lot of predictions were people were saying, it's Molde or Rosenborg, but you did actually lose your manager earlier. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to be in charge when he went to Man United, and then obviously Erling Moe took over. I mean, was it actually an unsettling effect on the squad or not?
Say it's much of unsettling. Obviously, it can be a little bit, but I will say not. Maybe not so much. But we had to just take it that way and readjust the mind and adapt to the situation immediately.
Yes.
So it doesn't distract us a lot and all that.
What would you say it's actually like working under Erling Moe? Because, you know what, I think he's one of those managers who's not really talked about that much this season. He's kind of gone about his business really well, and it feels like other managers, for either good or bad reasons, have been more in the press, sort of Eirik Hestad or Kjetil Knutsen, guys like that. But Erling Moe just... is he a bit underrated, do you think?
Well, I won't really say he's underrated or something. He's just him. It's him, and he was the assistant before. So I think you being the assistant, maybe you won't be on the front page all the time. Unlike you being the head coach, in charge of the whole thing. So I think maybe that's like you being ahead being the assistant is two different stuff.
Have you enjoyed the tactics that Erling Moe has employed with Molde?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Tactical aspect, he applied it and everything was going okay, and at the end they won the league. So I would say it was okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk to you about the competition for places in attack at Molde, because at the start of the season you weren't actually in the starting 11 regularly. It was Ohi Omoijuanfo who was in great form. He was scoring a lot of goals. And what would you say it's actually... Was the competition for places a good thing against him? Was it frustrating not being in the team? But then it seems that you've worked really well together when you've been combined together in the team as well.
Yeah. Of course, it it will be frustrating not to play or not to start playing at the beginning of the season, because I was really ready and getting ready to start the season and good form to start to play, and then all of a sudden I wasn't getting that enough playing time. Yeah, it is frustrating, but I just used that as a motivation to keep pushing and keep working. I didn't allow that to get over me, to weigh me down. So I just kept on doing my thing and to wait for the chance. So yeah, that was it. It was okay. It was a good. I think it was a good motivation and a good fight for me to keep me pushing even more harder.
Yeah, and once you actually came into the team, you did really well. You've actually scored 16 goals in a 17-game period, which is pretty sensational, really. And a key stat, just looking at our partners Y-Scout, that 50% of your shots have been on target this season, which is actually the second best record out of anyone in the league. It really seems like you're quite a clinical finisher. And for example, you actually had a 12% better accuracy than the Golden Boot winner, Turgel Berven. So, I mean, obviously a clinical finisher. What do you think the key is there? Would you say it's clear you have excellent composure in front of goal?
Yeah, that's it. I try to be as more composed as I can in front of goal. That helps me to be more clinical. So still a work in progress. We keep learning by day. Yeah, the learning still continues. It's not stopped. So keep working on that to get better and better and better and better all the time.
What sort of striker do you see yourself as? Because, I mean, would you say you're a poacher? Are you a target man? Are you more of a complete forward who sort of has the whole package? What sort of striker do you personally see yourself as?
I will say I'm a complete striker.
Yeah,
I'm a complete striker. And another way, also like a target man, I think. You can say target man, but I think I'm a complete striker.
I think you're pretty fast and you're also really strong physically. Who would you say are the most difficult defenders to play against in the Eliteserien this season?
Well, that's let me see.
It's not. I'll be honest. It's not been the greatest year for defenders, has it? But
yeah, because there are a couple of tough ones, but I don't really respect. I don't really respect defenders, because the more I give respect to them, they put me. They hinder my target, my goal, what I want to achieve in their box. So I try to wave it down like, I don't know this face that is here. I just want to do my thing,
I think it's a good answer. I think that's a good answer. You don't fear anyone, which is great.
Yeah. Anyone, bring it on. I don't care who the defender is. So I just want to do my thing.
Yeah. Now you've actually had some. You finished the chances really well, but you've had some fantastic service from players like Magnus Wolff Eikrem, Eirik Hestad, Christopher Haugen. They've done really well. How fantastic is it to have players like that in the team who can supply you with some great balls?
Yeah, it's really great if you're in a team with great players like that can, I think it will be really lovely to be great, because you get excellent service. make the job more easier for you, you know, because great players with great sight, great feet. It's a group of amazing players, honestly, I must confess. So it has been great to play with these guys, you know. In terms of the service, it's amazing. Yeah.
I just want to talk to you about your Nigerian heritage now. And actually, my co-host, Jonathan Fadugba, who has African roots himself. First of all, he's got some quick questions that he's asked me to tell you, a bit of a quick fire round. And so start off here. Nollywood or Hollywood?
Hollywood.
Jollof rice or Eba stew?
Jollof rice.
Lagos or Abuja?
Abuja.
JJ Kocha or Kanu?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Oh, do I have to pick one or can't I pick both?
Yeah, I don't know. You gotta make a decision.
Okay, since I'm a striker, I go with Kanu.
And the final one, plantain or pounded yam?
Oi, the person who created this question, I think this person knows me, yeah?
Yeah?
Because I love plantain a lot, and I love pounded yam. I don't know who to... Oh my God.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for those answers there. And so, yeah, you've obviously Nigerian heritage, and you've actually you've not actually made any international appearances yet. Would you love to play for the Nigerian national team?
Of course, I will be honoured if I get the call-up.
Yeah, that's. Do you think you should be in consideration for the squad after this season's form?
Yeah, I think I should be, but it's up to the handlers. So.
Yeah. And now you've actually got your own personal tournament over in Nigeria just next week, I do believe. The Leke James invitational tournament. It's in a place called Kaduna. And maybe you'd just like to tell the listeners a little bit more about this tournament you've got in Nigeria there.
Oh, okay. I actually started this in 2016. I was born in Kaduna. I grew up in Kaduna. So I just thought of how I could start to give back to the community, you know, especially to the youths, and to help see how we can keep developing the grassroots football in the state and even the country at large. So I said, okay, I can start with this and see how it goes, and probably start to grow and expand it to become bigger and bigger. You know, actually to give more opportunity to young talents coming up who really want to play a trade in football. So those are all the aims and objectives of this, to try and help these guys to discover and uncover talents, and to help them achieve their dreams. That was the main aim of this program, you know. And I'm happy it was going well. People are happy, they enjoy it, because football is one thing that unites people in the country, you know, to help keep off crime, keep the youth away from indulging in things that are not okay, you know, like crime, violence, and all that. So just try to engage them, you know, that period. So those are the aims of doing this, and I'm happy it's really going well, and they really appreciate it.
Is there has there been quite a lot of interest out there? A bit of media attention. We have 16 teams, one trophy. December 9th to the 11th.
Yeah. Media have been involved. They have been coming in to cover the program and to let people know about it, and let people know what I'm doing and all that. So it has been great, to be honest. I'm happy with it. It has been great. It has been going well. Yeah, and also I tried also to bring international scouts, both scouts at home and abroad, coming for the program also to pick talents, and the ones that are good can have a chance to show their talents abroad also. So it's a good step.
Yeah, we do have a few African listeners, and if we've got any scouts listening in that area as well, get along to Kaduna, December 9th to 11th. I do believe it's a free entry, and
it is. Yeah.
We wish you all the best with that particular tournament, Leke, and I hope it's really good for development of talent there in Nigeria. And we'll just talk a little bit about your own history, because you started off, I do believe, at a team called Bridge Boys down there, and then you moved to Ålesund in Norway. So you actually, and then a stint over in China with Beijing Enterprises. So your move into Norwegian football, was that quite straightforward? And I mean, you adapted very well, didn't you, at Ålesund?
Yeah, I did, because I was when I was 17. I was in Sweden for 6 months before I went back to Nigeria, then came to Ålesund the following year. So I had a little bit experience about the country, because it's similar. Sweden, Norway, it's Scandinavia, so the weather and food and everything. So I adapted quickly because of the experience I got in Sweden before I came. So everything went so quick and fast. I adapted quick, so it was a smooth ride. Yeah.
And are you pleased to see Ålesund get promoted back to the Eliteserien?
Yeah, of course, I'm pleased. I'm happy. Ålesund is a club that I will never forget. So Ålesund is like home. It's like home for me. We've created a lot of great memories there. I was there for over 4 years. So. My first professional club in Europe, so big respect for Ålesund. So yeah.
And what about the future for Leke James then? Do you see yourself? Are you looking forward to 2020 with Molde? Champions League, looking to regain the gold medal, and all that. You should be excited about that next season.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I am excited about that. I'm excited, so we're looking forward to all that. Now the season is over. Just gonna take some rest a little, and then back to work again and face the job squarely again.
Do you think this Molde team can? I'm not going to say dominate Norwegian football like Rosenborg did, but do you think you can be a constant challenger now at the top of the table for the next few years? It seems like you've got a really good squad which will probably stay together. I think the finances are good at Molde. It seems the club has got a good structure to it.
Yeah. All the things are going well. All things being equal, I think we can still do it. We can still stay on top. We can still retain it if we keep doing what we're doing, and even try to improve on it. Of course, there are different angles that we need to be better in, so it can only get better. So we just try to keep on working hard and doing what we know how to do best, try to improve on every angle. I believe we can still stay on top of the league.
Do you think Rosenborg will be better next year? Well, they can't be any worse, to be fair, can they? But
yeah, I don't know. I don't know for them. I don't know their plans. I don't know. Can only speak for my team. I don't know if they want to do this or that, but I believe with this team we can stay on top.
Well, we wish you the very best of luck for next year, and again, once more, congratulations for 2019, and thanks very much for joining us on the Nordic Football Podcast, Leke.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for having me also. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. That was Leke James on the Nordic Football Podcast. Brilliant interview. Very much enjoyed having him on the show. Thanks again, Leke. Okay, so that's the end of this particular episode. Short and sweet, I suppose, in many ways. Me and Jonathan Verdugger will hopefully be back very soon for some end-of-season reviews. So keep an eye out for those episodes. In the meantime, follow us on Twitter if you already haven't, at Nordic Footpod. You can follow myself at Meatman Soccer, or Jonathan at JF Football. And remember to just subscribe to us on iTunes or Spotify or our YouTube channel, whichever method you prefer to listen to our podcast on. So thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.